Thank you, Reverend. May we have your testimony, please? Tina will translate for you.
Thank
Tina,
you, Libby.
please.
Thank you.
Hi, Valerie. This is Tina. I will translate today.
Thank you. I was reminded yesterday of how great our God is and what he can accomplish through us if we stay devoted to him and want to serve him wholly.
昨天我被提醒到我们的神是多么的伟大，他能透过我们成就很多。如果我们全心全意侍奉他的话，
It was the historical event that took place in the book of Daniel 500 years before Christ, when Daniel and his 3 friends were taken captive to Babylon and chosen to be in the palace for training in all the ways of the Babylonians.
这是发生在公元前500年但以理书中的历史事件。当时但以理和他3个朋友被掳到巴比伦，也同样被选入王宫，接受巴比伦所有方式的一个训练。
Daniel 1:17 tells us that God gave these 4 young men an unusual aptitude for understanding every aspect of literature and wisdom.
在但以理书1章17节中说到，这4个少年人，神在各样文字学问上赐给他们聪明知识，但以理又明白各样的意象和梦兆。
After 3 years of training, King Nebuchadnezzar talked with them, and no one impressed him more, and so they entered the royal service of the king.
经过3年的训练，尼布加尼撒王与他们交谈。除了这些人，没有人给他留下更深的印象。于是这些人就进入了王室去服侍王。
What an amazing opportunity to serve our one true God in the midst of a heathen nation and directly for a heathen king himself.
在一个充满异教徒的国家中，直接为一个异教徒的国王服务，这是多么令人惊叹的一个机会啊！
God knew these men's hearts and that they were loyal and dedicated to him, and he would be able to use them for his glory.
神知道他们的心，也知道他们对神的忠诚、忠心和奉献，他会使用他们来去荣耀他。
After Daniel interpreted the king's complicated dream, having the mysteries revealed to him through God, Daniel 2:49 tells us, at Daniel's request, the king appointed Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to be in charge of all the affairs of the province of Babylon.
但以理在解释了国王复杂的梦境之后呢，通过上帝，但以理透过上帝向他揭示了其中的奥秘，然后但以理求王就派沙德拉、米煞、亚伯尼哥管理巴比伦省的事务，只是但以理常在朝中侍立，这是在但以理书中2章49节说的。
You can imagine the jealousies this created among all the great wise men of Babylon to watch refugees from Jerusalem run their country in their place.
你可以想象哦，就是看着来自耶路撒冷的这些难民或者被俘虏的这些像奴隶一样的人，代替他们自己管理自己的国家，巴比伦所有伟大的这些智者会产生怎样的嫉妒？
We can definitely see God paving the way for something great to happen.
我们绝对可以看到上帝为伟大的事情的发生铺平了路。
Finally, the wise men of Babylon get their opportunity to bring down the 3 wise Jewish leaders.
最后呢，巴比伦的这些智者们得到了扳倒犹太人这3位智者领袖的一个机会。
King Nebuchadnezzar builds a gold statue almost 31 meters high by almost 3 meters wide for all to bow and worship when they heard the sound of musical instruments.
尼布加尼撒王建造了一座高近31米、宽接近3米的一个巨型石像，而当所有国民听到乐器声的时候，所有人都要去跪拜他。
Anyone defying the king's order would be thrown into a fiery furnace immediately.
任何违抗王命令的人都会被立即投入火炉中。
Of course, the godly young men God had blessed were not going to change allegiance to their God for any reason.
当然啦，上帝保守这些虔诚的年轻人，不会因为任何原因而改变对上帝的忠诚。
When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are brought before the king, they say, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up."
这是在但以理书中3章16到18节中记载的。沙德拉、米煞、亚伯尼哥对王说：“尼布甲尼撒王啊，这件事我们不必回答你。即便如此，我们所侍奉的神能将我们从烈火的窑中救出来。王啊，他也必救我们脱离你的手，即或不然。王啊，你当知道，我们绝不侍奉你的神，也不敬拜你所立的金像。”
God gave these men boldness and bravery at the right time.
上帝适时地赐予了这些人胆识和勇气。
Often we wonder if we could stand up against such an evil orders, and the answer is yes.
我们常常会想，面对如此邪恶的命令，我们能否挺身而出呢？
God gives us the power and the words when they are needed at exactly the right time.
答案是会的，上帝会在需要的时候适时地赐予我们力量和他的话语。
And as these young men acknowledge that God may allow them to be martyred, their faith shows that they trusted the Lord entirely on the outcome. They did not waver.
当这些年轻人承认上帝可能允许他们殉道的时候，他们的信心表明他们完全相信上帝给他们的结果。
Nebuchadnezzar was so angry he had the furnace heated 7 times hotter, and they were thrown inside.
即使面对殉道的结果呢，他们也没有动摇。然后尼布甲尼撒王就恼羞成怒了，将火炉加热7倍，把他们扔了进去。
But then Nebuchadnezzar sees a fourth person in the furnace that looks like a god.
但是尼布甲尼撒在火炉里看到了第4个人，看起来像神。
He called for the 3 Jews to come out, only to see that they were entirely unharmed, completely clothed, and without any trace of smoke on them.
他叫那3个犹太人出来的时候，就看见了他们毫发无损，衣着也没有被烧，身上没有一丝的烟雾。
God used this incident to show the entire nation of Babylon who the one true God is and worthy of their worship.
神透过这件事向整个巴比伦的人表示，谁才是唯一的真神，谁值得他们敬拜。
Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They defied the king's command and were willing to die rather than serve or worship any god except their own God."
尼布甲尼撒说：“沙德拉、米煞、亚伯尼哥的神是应当称颂的。他差遣使者救护倚靠他的仆人，他们不遵王命，舍去己身，在他们神以外不肯侍奉敬拜别神。”
He then made a new decree that if anyone said a word against the one true God, they would be destroyed.
于是呢，他就颁布了一项新的法令：如果有人说一句反对唯一真神的话，那这个人就会被毁灭。
We, like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, can ask God to give us more wisdom and knowledge anytime.
我们可以像但以理、沙德拉、米煞、亚伯尼哥一样，在任何时候都能求神给我们更多的智慧和知识。
James 1:5 tells us, if you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking, but when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone.
在雅各书1章5节中说到，你们中间若有缺少智慧的，应当求那厚赐与众人也不斥责人的神，主就必赐给他。
Also, when we turn over the control of our life to the Lord, he then can begin to show us the plans he has for our life.
此外，当我们将人生的主权交给神的时候，他就能开始向我们展示他为我们人生所制定的计划。
In Jeremiah 29:11, we read, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future.
在耶利米书29章11节中说到，耶和华说，我知道我向你们所怀的意念是赐平安的意念，不是降灾祸的意念，要叫你们末后有指望。
Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego to even higher positions in the province of Babylon.
对，所以最后呢，王在巴比伦省就提升了沙德拉、米煞和亚伯尼哥。
Not only were these men blessed even more, but the name of the one true God was declared in an entire nation very clearly.
这些人不仅得到了更多的祝福，而且向整个民族清楚地宣告了独一真神的名。
How wonderful to be part of God's plan in reaching others. It is a privilege and guaranteed to fill you with joy unspeakable to be part of such a godly mission.
成为上帝计划的一部分，向他人传福音，这是多么美妙的事情！能参与这样一项敬虔的使命，是你的荣幸，也一定会让你充满难以言表的喜乐。Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Tina.
Please lead us read the Lord's Prayer. 请他开麦。
Repeat after me. Our Father in heaven,
Our Father in
Our
heaven,
Father in heaven,
hallowed be your name.
Hallowed be your name.
Your kingdom come.
Your
kingdom come.
Your will be done
Your
will be
will
done.
be done
on earth as it is in heaven.
On earth as it is in heaven.
Give us today our daily bread.
Give us
Give us
today
our daily bread.
And forgive us our debts.
and forgive
us our debts,
As we also have forgiven our debtors.
as
we also have forgiven our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation.
and
And
lead us not
lead us not into temptation,
But deliver us from the evil one.
but
deliver us from the evil one.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Have a great day. Love you.
Let's